Hi, and welcome to this episode of The Forge. We've got a great show for you. It's full of surprises and announcements. It's going to be fantastic. First, we're going to be talking to Brandy Agerbeck. We'll get to her in just a second. We're going to be talking about a new beta project from TechSmith called Cyclops. And then we're going to be talking about Screencast Camp. Campers, Forge viewers, unite. We're on with The Forge. All right, welcome back. A few housekeeping things before we get going into the show. If you want to follow along, you can use the chat below in the live video or leave us comments on YouTube. You can also email us at theforge@techsmith.com. We'd love to hear your suggestions, comments, feedback, praise, if there is any, maybe even some hate mail. It's always fun. You can also follow along on Twitter if you want. You can connect with any of the TechSmith handles or use the hashtag TSCForge. We'd love to get in contact with you via social as well. Now it's my wonderful privilege to welcome our guest, Brandy Agerbeck. Brandy is a graphic facilitator and amazing person. So Brandy, welcome so much to the show. We're so glad that you're here.
I thank you.
So Brandy, let's get started, because I think there's I probably said a bunch of words. People are like, graphic facilitator. I've never heard those words put together. Why don't you give us a little background about what you do? Because I think it's super cool and I'm super excited about it, but I'm guessing most people don't know what it is.
Definitely. When people ask me what I do, I always first say I have a very strange job, because it's something most people haven't heard of. What I do is called Graphic Facilitation, and when a group of people are having a meeting, I come in with a big roll of paper, a 4-foot-long roll of paper, put a giant sheet of paper up on the wall, and I map the group's conversation while they're talking. So it's a way to really help use my listening, my thinking skills, and my drawing skills to help serve a group, to help them see what they're saying and the work that they're getting done.
So we actually have an example. We're going to have Kelly in the back switch, if he'll switch to, if you can, to my machine. We've got a graphic here of, you actually did one for the Wizard of Oz, which is oddly strange, but it's also very cool. So talk us through a little bit of what, what are the elements here that get incorporated into one of these, I guess, maps or documents that you create?
Yep. Yeah, I like to call them maps. I like to think of them as sort of these visual maps of information. So with the Wizard of Oz, I really wanted to show an example of a story, information that everyone knows. So pretty much everyone's seen the Wizard of Oz. So what I did was I actually put a sheet of paper up while I was watching the movie in the background, and I mapped the flow of the Wizard of Oz. So it starts in the upper left-hand corner, and then it sort of moves throughout the story. And graphic facilitation, when you're doing this kind of mapping, whether you're doing it for a group or doing sort of like sketch noting, which is like your own personal version, it's a combination of words and images. So it's, you know, a lot of times people are very comfortable with text, but it's a matter of introducing color, introducing icons, so that you can organize your information and bring it to life and color code and add some visual elements that help bring your information to life, and also make it more spatial. So in this case, you know, the Wizard of Oz starts with her in her farmhouse in Kansas, and then she goes on this great adventure, and then she returns back home. So in this case, I made a circular drawing so that it started out in one place and looped back around and sort of showed the shape of the movie and the different pieces of the plot within that story.
Yeah, so I'm guessing already there's probably some people who are going to watch this and say, that's great that she can do that. This has no application to me or anything I want to do with communicating visually. There's just so many things here that there's no way it's going to work for me. So I guess
yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah.
So Brandy, I
was going to say, my feeling is that there's. What's that?
No, go ahead. I think we're just keep crossing. Our signal's a little bit delayed, so just go ahead and say what you're gonna complete your thought.
Super. So here's my feeling, is that a lot of our world today is very text-based, and it's also very linear. So we spend a lot of our days looking at pages, whether it's a piece of paper or it's a screen, but a lot of times those pages are filled with linear text. And my feeling is that with graphic facilitation or sketch noting, or incorporating any kind of drawing into your work, using drawing as a thinking tool, you can break out of that sort of linear list-based, text-based mode and start to think spatially. because really we're three-dimensional people, live in three-dimensional space, and tools like this help us break out of, this very sequential linear thinking and let us organize things in new ways. I think there's some people who, when they hear that, they're like, yes, I am totally on board. And so then it's just a matter of picking up some new tools that sort of work the way they naturally work. I think for other people, it's a little bit foreign and they're like, okay, but it would help them stretch and do something new. And then I think there are some people who are very linear and sequential, and they're just going to be like, meh, not my scene, which is totally fine. But what I hope is for the people who feel constrained by how linear things are and think that they might work really well with visuals, that they have a chance to just sort of like open up that door and try it out as a possibility.
Yeah, one thing that I heard recently, and I'm trying to recall where exactly I heard it was, is someone said that, if you look at words, they are this very linear pattern. We're used to going straight across the page, then you move down, and then you go again. But that in today's society, our problems aren't linear. They're actually much more spatial than that, and this type of thinking can help you to get out of that.
Right. Yes, and I think, if you think about some things do make a lot of sense sequentially. A recipe, for example. Usually you have to do those steps of a recipe in a specific order. But think about, like you were saying, our world is so much more complex. We're getting information from all these different sources. And so it's really a matter of doing things like sorting through your information, putting similar things together, grouping things together, labeling them, finding themes. So all those things, get out of this sort of step by step idea and into like you said, the spatial sort of problem solving that handles complexity a lot better.
So I think one thing, Brandy, that as I've thought a lot about this and as I've talked with you, I've realized that by no means do I consider myself an artist. But I see there's this real value there that as I look at these, and The Wizard of Oz is an interesting example because it's a movie, it's something everyone knows, but a lot of times when I'm doing something, I'm trying to solve a problem or come to a solution. So if someone wanted to use some of these techniques, not necessarily to do a facilitation of a meeting or something bigger, what are some things that they could grab onto and apply?
Yeah, I think quickly, one thing is just very, very simply the kind of tools you give yourself. And it can be really, really basic stuff. I mean, I am a huge fan. The thing I live and die by are index cards and flare pens. You couldn't get more simple than that. But truly, we're so used to working like this. We work portrait with lines. Simply just give ourselves blank sheets of paper. So, if you turn over a piece of paper, find a piece of typing paper. Nobody calls it typing paper anymore, but regular paper. And so first thing is just flip it over and have a blank sheet of paper. The second thing is turn it landscape. When we see something like this that's portrait and vertical, we think very listy. But if you give yourself a canvas to take your notes on or work out an idea that's landscape, you already start thinking more broadly, and it gives you a chance to group things in different ways. And I think a big thing is, like the technique of mind mapping. Mind mapping is specifically putting a central idea in the middle and then branching out different ideas sort of like this. So you've got a central hub and then spoke them off of it. That is a very specific technique that you can find a lot of good resources that help step by step. But generally, I just think it's great if you just, as you're learning something or you're listening to a lecture or, anytime you want to, if you're in a meeting and you want to take notes for yourself, I think the big thing is just get something down on paper, and maybe it is text. So those are just lines that represent text. But then as new information comes to you, think about where it fits in relationship to that. So maybe things are grouped, so this thing becomes a subpoint of this thing. It's just a matter of thinking about, you can push around this information and map it out in different ways and just see what happens. If you end up putting two things very far apart, you can always draw a line to connect them. As people get really intimidated by drawing because most people have had a bad experience and they sort of flip that drawing switch off. But truly, it's a very forgiving medium. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can mark things up. You can erase things. You can always redraw something. And redrawing something is actually going to help you reinterpret and remember something even better than if you'd drawn it once. So truly, it's just a matter of trying it out and practicing.
So maybe this is a good chance, and we'll link to this on the blog. Let's go over to your drawing quad, because I found this really interesting when we talked about it, is that obviously this concept of putting drawings down, doing something, getting something out, is much more than just this process of the act of drawing. That's not what's even the important part. That's right, correct?
Yeah, and Sure, yeah. I think the main thing with the draw quad is I wanted to clarify my own thinking about drawing. I am the world's biggest zealot about drawing. I think it's the best thing ever. But trying to understand that there's different types of drawing. So can folks see the draw quad now?
Yeah, let's Kelly, if you can switch to my screen again.
For folks to see.
Should be up. Well, we're good.
Okay, so basically what the draw quad is, excellent. It's a 2x2 matrix, and so that gives you 4 different types of drawing. And on the upper left, if you they'll link to more information about this. You can take a closer look at this. But very quickly, the upper left-hand quadrant is drawing to think and to think through your ideas for yourself. So it's sort of the individual internal. I'm making this drawing just for me, and I will give you permission to make drawings that you never ever show to a single person, and that's perfectly fine. I think you can do a lot of great thinking just drawing out your own ideas. The upper right-hand quadrant, the blue quadrant, is drawing to see. Now this is sort of the enemy quadrant, and I'm a huge fan of drawing something to get those skills to actually draw the still life to look like a still life. But what's important is this is the quadrant that freaks everyone out. And I want you to understand it's only one part of the equation. So that's drawing to see. That's to draw the thing to look like the thing you're drawing. The lower left-hand quadrant is drawing to show. These are things like information graphics or PowerPoint slides. These are times when you're creating images to capture a specific message to deliver to a specific audience. So that's the sort of crafting something and saying, I want to represent X, and this is what it looks like. And then the last quadrant is where graphic facilitation lives. It's drawing to show, or sorry, drawing to do. It's drawing to facilitate. So that's a case where you have somebody who dedicates their drawing skills to help a group do work. So that's a super quick overview. The big thing to remember is that there's all these different reasons to draw, all these types of drawing. And there's sort of like 2 diagonal lines that go through this. Going through the drawing to show, the red quadrant, and the drawing to see, the blue quadrant, is one diagonal that's very much about product. So these are cases where the images need to be more accurate and refined. The other 2 quadrants, the yellow and green quadrant, the drawing to think and the drawing to do, those quadrants are more about process. And those, a lot of times those drawings need to be fast and messy. So I think it's important that folks sort of let go of all the pressure and the intimidation about drawing as a product. And remember that you can totally use drawing as a process and use it as a thinking tool to work out your ideas. And maybe, Matt, you'll be so kind to show us your flip chart, because I think that's a great example of how, since we met last month, you've sort of created more spatial, used some more spatial tools, and how you worked through something you were working on.
Of course, you promised that the thinking drawing, no one would ever have to show their drawings except for me, right? So, but no, this is the one I did.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're very brave.
Yeah, no, this is, we're working through some career development stuff at TechSmith, and this is just what I did, and I've stolen kind of handily from Brandy's kind of style with the faces and whatnot. But yeah, it's actually been really helpful for me to go through that process, because it clarified a bunch of my thoughts, and it's been great. And I didn't go into, when I met Brandy, I didn't know anything about it, so it's been nice. I've also found that the landscaping, turning my notebook the other way has been helpful too, just to provide a different way of thinking about how I'm capturing what I learn and what I hear. So yeah, definitely great. Mm-hmm. So we're almost out of time. We've got about 2 minutes total left. I want to make sure one more thing that you said that I thought was really interesting, that drawing is a practice, and because I hear all the time, I can't draw, I don't draw, but that's kind of a factor of other things, right?
Yeah, no, truly, drawing is a practice. I think one thing is fortunately we've made art and drawing as sort of like this, genius thing, and only magical people can do it. Truly, it is a practice. When somebody tells me they draw like a 5-year-old, it's because unfortunately they probably stopped drawing when they were 5 years old. The more you do it, the better you get. It's a practice, much like somebody who learns a sport or somebody who learns a musical instrument. I think, I'm happy that Malcolm Gladwell had brought in this concept of 10,000 hours. I'm not saying you have to do 10,000 hours of drawing, but truly there is muscle memory that happens. The more you draw, the more it's sort of, you embody those skills, you learn those skills, and the easier it gets. So again, like process and getting away from the product idea, building a practice of just sort of having paper nearby. Like I go everywhere with index cards. Very simple, but it gives me a chance to, if I get an idea, I can write it down, and I can always come back to it and refine it and practice. drawing a specific icon or working through a specific idea. That really, it gets easier and it gets better over time. And again, I want to reinforce what Matt was saying, and thank you again for showing your flip chart, that truly, even if all you're doing is making images for yourself to work through your own ideas, you know, I think that's fantastic. And maybe someday you'll find there's opportunities to share those drawings, and you'll find, because everyone else is so scared of drawing, that they'll actually probably say, you know, probably think you're pretty courageous for sharing those drawings, and hopefully you'll actually encourage others to do the same.
So Brandy, we do need to wrap up, but before we go, I want to make sure we plug your book, Graphic Facilitator's Guide. We'll put links on the website again and get it out there. But if you guys want to learn more about what Brandy does and learn a little bit how you can do it and apply it yourself, I just recommend you check out the book. And that's available on Amazon or from her site, loosetooth.com. So, Brandy, thank you so much. I think Brandy is going to stick around to talk with you guys in the chat room if you're watching live.
Sure thing.
And Brandy, thanks. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a second.
Oh, hey, new guy.
Hey. Hey, new guy. Hey.
Hey, you know all that's free, right?
Wow, catered lunch on Fridays, not having to work on your birthday, and free soda. Why haven't I worked here my whole life?
Well, it hasn't always been this way. Sure, our benefits are great now, but not every idea is a winner right off the bat. For every free massage day, we also have other failed initiatives like surprise free tetanus shot day.
Okay, so that takes care of venue. Next up, presenters. How are we going to go about getting people to present at our developer conference?
I guess we could start by sending some...
Ow! Oh, man. I'm sorry, Scott, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying that we could start by sending out some emails. I'll be the one that just takes care of that, though.
I still maintain it would have been a big hit if we had gone with licensed professionals, though.
Yeah, but then we really wouldn't have had anything left in the budget to buy trophies for the Sales versus Marketing Bare Knuckle Boxing Challenge.
Look at them. They're mocking you. They think you're a chump. Focus. Sales does not lose to marketing. Let's do this. Let's do this!
Do I really have to do this? It's my first day. If you want to come back for your second day, you'll get out there and represent the marketing department.
All right, we're back, and we've got a very special guest, Jeremy Vanisacker, a product manager of many products here at TechSmith. He's here to talk about TechSmith's newest beta project, Cyclops.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Sounds intimidating, right?
Hey, you know, it's really cool. It's a code name, but we think it kind of speaks a little bit to what we're trying to get across with the app.
Okay, so if I'm watching this right now and I have no idea what the heck we're talking about, Cyclops, I mean, obviously one eye, but what are we talking about?
Sure. So we've got lots of requests from customers about, hey, what are you doing on Android, right? You know, the world's going mobile, and we got an iPad and iOS stuff out there, but hey, what are we doing on Android? And so this is really our first endeavor out there, and the whole idea behind it is videos kind of everywhere. You're taking these videos. There's lots of opportunities to use these videos, whether it's tutorials or instructional or just basically bridge this knowledge gap. And so the whole idea behind this is you take a video, whether I'm going around a house to show off if I'm a property inspector, whether, hey, something just happened, I need to inspect my car, somebody's throwing a football and I want to break down their throwing motion, just these sorts of things that you want to capture, but it's the knowledge that you can give on top of this video that really speaks to it. So it's this whole idea of creating a video over a video. So I take a video of you doing something of, hey, how to hammer a nail. It doesn't matter. And what I'm able to do then is I'm able to record over that video with my voice. I can annotate that. I can slow it down and scrub through it very fine. So if I need to talk about a particular sort of thing on there, I can pause it there and talk through it. I can go back and forth. And so it's this idea of really adding your knowledge to an existing video to sort of enhance that sort of thing.
So if you're a knowledge expert and you got something that's physical in the real world, it's not something on the screen, you could capture it and share it, annotate it, talk about it, highlight it. Okay.
Exactly, and that's the whole idea behind it.
So probably for our customers out there, if you're familiar with Coach's Eye, somewhat similar, but obviously we're not just targeting coaches. So what are the key things besides what it does? Is there anything else we should know about Cyclops?
So right now, what we have right now is a beta with limited sort of seats in it. And we really, if you're interested in it, you can go to cyclopsproject.com, and I know we'll put that up. But you can go there and you can fill it out. We'll want you to just make sure that, hey, we're going to be messaging you. We're going to try and get your feedback on this because we're really interested in the ideas that are out there and potential ways this could be used. So we'll be contacting you through the app, and hopefully you'll participate with us. And so you got to kind of sign up to get into a slot that's available right now. Okay, so limited sign up, but we're looking for lots of people. Lots of people, limited. We haven't hit our cap yet, so definitely get in there as soon as you can. Any restrictions? You said Android, but anything else they should know hardware-wise? You know, there's lots of Android devices out there, and one of the things that we pride ourselves in is doing a rigorous quality test. And I tell you what, we got very talented software engineers, very talented designer who's really digging into this stuff and trying to work it on, make sure it works on as many devices as possible and looks beautiful on as many devices as possible. So sign up for the beta, get your spot, reserve it now, and really play with it and give us your feedback. All right, so if you're interested in joining part of the Cyclops team, I think there's always so many cool things we could play off of with that. Indeed. So if you're interested in Cyclops, we'll get the link with the blog post. We'll put it in the YouTube description as well in case you're interested. Check it out. You can see some of the, if we want to real quick flip to the computer screen here, you can see some of the images of what you would get if you had it otherwise. Jeremy, anything else we should know about going forward? Hey, really excited. We really want you to play with it. We really want your feedback. And remember, this is beta, first glimpse, first look at this thing, and definitely want to give a great shout out to our developers and our designers for cranking this awesomeness out. So absolutely. So go check it out, everyone. If you got an Android device, you're no longer in the dark. So check out Cyclops. We're going to take another quick break, and we will be right back.
People communicate best with visuals. It's how we've been wired. So, is it really surprising that piles of notes and written instructions don't always get the job done? We need visuals in the mix to help us get the point across, especially online. That's why we made Snagit, the ultimate screen capture tool designed to help you communicate efficiently with engaging images and videos you can share with anyone. So the next time your computer flashes an error message, don't waste time writing a lengthy email to IT. Capture what you see on your screen and show them the problem. And stop repeating yourself while you're at it. Explaining how to use Twitter isn't quite as effective as showing your mom the steps she needs to go through to tweet like a pro. Snagit makes it easy and fast to communicate visually online with anyone. So give it a try. You might find you have extra time on your hands for more important things.
All right, we're back, and we've got another special guest. Long time no see. It's Betsy Weber, back from traveling around the globe and living in faraway places. Welcome, Betsy.
It's good to be here.
It's been a long time since we've had you on an episode of The Forge.
I know, it's been a while.
And this is an exciting segment. I am pumped.
Super excited.
So why are you here? What are we talking about?
I'm here to talk about Screencast Camp.
Screencast Camp. Fantastic.
Yes. So last year we had our first Screencast Camp. And we had people driving from New York, from St. Louis, here to TechSmith headquarters in lovely Okemos, Michigan.
Not Okemos, but Okemos.
Yes. And they came in on Friday and spent the weekend here through Sunday. And it's a user-generated conference. So the attendees set the agenda about what they wanted to learn and what they wanted to talk about and what they wanted to teach each other.
Absolutely. So this is, I'm super excited because people actually camped last year.
I did. I camped both nights. I was the only camper to go both nights because it rained.
It rained pretty hard, so you were brave.
I know. I was hardcore.
But the thing that I love about Screencast Camp is that anyone can come.
Yes.
We do have a cap, so
it's free.
It's free. You get your food, your drinks. We run some entertainment.
Yep. We roll on the beer kegs Friday afternoon, and root beer.
Root beer. And then people come and they get to talk about all things screencasting, and it's product agnostic, so we're not talking about necessarily just TechSmith stuff, but any screencasting thing that you want.
Yep, and we had people there who had never screencasted before, who wanted to learn all about it, and topics ranged from the 10 Commandments of screencasting to
flipping your classroom.
Right, what to do before you record, or little applications that help you screencasting, a wide variety of topics.
And I'm pretty sure this year, I know we're already cooking one up, Anton Bowen and myself, how to record tablets. We're going to get Kelly in on that repeat of our Forge segment last time. So
Right, and a couple of us came in the studio. People are welcome to our studio and learn from how we do things here. There'll be lots of sporks around.
Sporks.
Right, so
here's the deal, guys. If you're watching right now and you're interested, you can go out to Screencast Camp. Sorry, it gets lots of screencasting going on. Screencastcamp.com, and you'll see a registration. Now, like I said, number of participants are limited. We want to make sure you can go. It's going to be the first weekend in August here at TechSmith. So if you can get here, you bring a tent. We got some hotel rooms that you can rent.
You can camp in my office. There's a wide variety of spaces inside if you don't feel like camping outside.
There's a creepy monkey head in Betsy's office. You might want to hold off on that. But we got lots of places for you. So just come. You'll learn a lot. I want to share. Betsy said that there's campers who this was their first time doing screencasting.
Yeah, they'd never even hit record before.
I want to tell you a story about Anna. I ran into Anna at an event a week or two ago. And hi, Anna, if you're watching. She is a community college teacher, teaches math. She'd never done screencasting, and she ended up flipping her classroom, and she's just ecstatic about it. And so it's fantastic. You can have those type of experiences. Even if you don't know a lot, I think there's lots of value that you can get and give, because there'll be people there that want to hear from your experience. And you'll definitely have something to share.
Right. You'll learn from us. We'll learn from you. You'll learn from each other. It's free, so the price is right.
Lots of learning going on.
And we'll have lots of microphones for you to test out, lots of different cameras, lots of different products and books. And you'll get to use all the resources that we have here at TechSmith.
And you get to meet Betsy.
And you get to meet Matt. And we'll make s'mores. We'll have fires, we'll sit out by the campfire at night.
In authorized locations fires.
Right.
Not random fires.
No.
So again, first weekend in August, that's the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Come to Screencast Camp. We'd love to see you guys there. We think it's going to be fantastic. It was a lot of fun last year, and we're expecting it to be doubly fun this year. So, thank you, Betsy, for coming on.
Thank you. Power of the Spork. It's going to be awesome. Now, before we go, we're going to wrap things up here. I need to let you know, this is usually the end of the season. We end things in May for the Forge. We take a little break in the summer, try to recoup, get things ready for the next season. But this year, we have a very special thing. We're going to be having another show in June. June 14th, it's a Thursday, 2 p.m., kind of same bat time, bat channel, zany wackiness. Maybe I'll bust out my tuxedo t-shirt. Whoa. I got to tell you, it's going to be fantastic. We're going to be talking about something amazing. So we can tell them, right? We're going to tell them what it is? How amazing. It's okay, here we go. The big announcement of what the show is going to be is